Welcome to Ultimate Orlando Clicks. I'm your host, Kevin, and this week we've got a monster update. We're going to start over at the Marketplace Co-op. Now, this has replaced the Team Mickey store in the Marketplace of Downtown Disney. And when you look inside the windows on the outside, you see instantly this orange bird stuff on the one side and the beautifully Disney stuff on the other side. And what you find once you go inside the doors is something of a miniature shopping mall. And as you can see, there's kind of a main thoroughfare with shops on both sides, and we'll take a closer look at those after pausing to look at this somewhat odd scaling display that they have on the ceiling. Those are scales, as though you're buying things from a co-op. That's the theme of the place. So the store at the very end in the back has got bags and jewelry and this sort of merchandise. Limit 2 per guest per style. I think they're aware that people sometimes buy too much of this stuff and resell it. Now from there you go into the place that has all of these Disney collectibles, and you will note almost right away that they are banking heavily on the nostalgia. A lot of these are designs from the 70s and perhaps even earlier in Disneyland. And they've got cups and tumblers and plates and coffee mugs and just all sorts of stuff having to do with the parks. And this is an extraordinarily park-heavy store, and it's unusual in that respect. A lot of attractions merchandise with some particular emphasis, I would say, on the Tiki Room and various things you can buy from the Tiki Room. So give that a look the next time you're in there. It's called the Centerpiece. And you can see here's the back wall behind the register. They've got other signs for sale there. Zoe and Pickles is the store over on the other side from there. It's kind of neon and almost 80s inspired. It's for young adults, young girls, I think especially. And then Beautifully Disney, for a store for makeup. You can see a lot of different makeup styles there. And they even have in the makeup corner over here a little place where you can sit down and try some on. The trophy room is across the way from there, back over by the Centerpiece. And the trophy room is pretty similar to what was here before in this entire space, and that's Team Mickey stuff. And then opposite that, back up the front of the shop, is D-Tech On Demand, which, as you can see, is all about iPhone cases and many other on-demand things. D-Tech is where you can do the thing where you freeze yourself in carbonite and so forth. And so they have a lot of available merchandise here on the iPads as well, and you can customize things for your own case, let's say. Here's a customization Alani with my name on it. Outside Downtown Disney, there are a couple of structures under construction. This one is over by Team Disney. I think this one is the engineering building, and then there's a cast services building over in Lot P, actually, on the other side of Downtown Disney in Lanuba. Switching over to Animal Kingdom, this is actually going back more than a week now. I haven't had an update in a little while. Harambe Nights is an upcharge event where you pay $119 per adult, and you're shown this concert in the wild. Now, as you can see from the playbill we're looking at here, it announces that there's a live orchestra, there's a live choir, there's live dancers, and there's also some scenes from the movie, as we'll see. Now, for your $119, in addition to that 1 hour long show, you have all of these appetizers and drinks. You'll notice there are some alcohols included, not a whole lot. And then these dinners here. So there's a whole bunch of entrees that you get at dinner at the Harambe Nights experience. And so this is the way it looks when you start off. You got some tables here and there's some live entertainment. And from there to the new Harambe Theater, to the bars, and then to the appetizers where they serve you on these little interesting plates. Now these are the pickled fennel paneer, and then these cheeseburger egg rolls. Those were interesting, actually, a little greasy but wonderfully tasting. Durban chicken tenders and Moroccan beef kefta. There's the rum table, and this is a kind of a bread dish that they give you when you go into the theater. Here's what some of the merchandise looks like. That's for sale in the area just outside the theaters. They claim that this stuff is only there for Harambe Nights, and those are the prices for you. They're doing free face painting out in the area before you go into the theater. And once into the theater, you see that they've set up an entirely new stage over here, kind of taking over one of the main show areas. And then they put replacement seating on the floor itself right over there. And then you see they are using the other wings. It does go all the way up by the time they end up seating everyone. And so this is what it looks like when the show begins. There's a kind of a dancer at the beginning, and then the choir over on the side, and the dancers are as well. And then they have the movie that shows scenes from the movie sometimes. And there's some interaction between the dancers and then what's happening in the movie. They have two different narrators, one local and one celebrity. It's a little bit actually in that sense like the candlelight show you're possibly familiar with at Epcot, except this is going through the Lion King movie and the Lion King story. Not a lot of space to work with and dance with. They do show a lot of the movie, actually. Several times where everyone, including the dancers, are just watching the screen rather than doing any action on the stage directly. So after that, the stilt walkers lead the way to the floats and the other dancers and performers and the fun out in the street party, they call it, Harambe Nights. And this is where all the rest of the food is. And so I'll show you what some of these look like. Some of the salads early on, and the potatoes and corvina, that's the fish. The seared lamb chops with tamarind pomegranate sauce was phenomenal. This was really my favorite overall. The fork shredded barbecue pork was also a big hit with my family. Vegetarian eggplant curry was okay. Creamy goat cheese pap was not my favorite dish. Didn't even try the zebra stripes or the other coffee bites and the rice pudding and so forth. There's just too much to try all in one go around. Apple slices were one of the more basic things there. Now they did have some characters out, Mickey and Minnie in African garb, Timon and Rafiki, and then Goofy as well, looking somewhat decked out in safari gear. A few more shots of the food, some more salad, onion salad and watercress and creamy mac and cheese in the next shot here. Spicy vegetable samosas, and then regular chicken legs, kind of not too spicy. I think they wanted to have a variety of things for people. A lot of people dancing out in this part of the night. Maybe all the alcohol had an effect by this point, until the very end when it kind of empties out and you can see up the avenues of the street there that it was a pretty big and busy place. All right, switching back over to downtown Disney. This is construction of the area behind Portobello. So there's the riverboat, here's Portobello, and there's a structure going on over the water. You can see pylons for going even deeper over the water there. And this signage near the parking structure shows some colorful artwork for Disney Springs. A little bit of a close-up there, so you can see what's happening to the island as it becomes Disney Springs. Now, we were also here this past weekend. Car Masters weekend was this past weekend, where you can see they've got some things set up around, especially this side of downtown Disney. And what they had, in addition to the cars, we'll show you some of those classic cars in a moment, was a setup out in Lot Q. So they've got a fire truck and then these little games that you can play in honor of the movie Planes, Fire and Rescue, which is coming out next month. Some expensive cars, some NASCAR cars, and in the background you can see one of the Richard Petty cars there as well. This is all part of the expo, where you can wander around, learn about performance cars, and this is one of the sponsors, obviously, Meguiar's. They have the food trucks out and beer tents, as well as Disney Infinity, so you can go play some games in this tent here. And there's a fairly long line. You can actually see the end of the line here, wrapping around and then going back around this way to meet the Cars characters. Now, these don't move or anything. They're kind of static, but you can go take your picture with all of them. And there's topiaries of the Cars characters. We've seen those before, now deployed to downtown Disney for this Car Masters weekend. And then all of those classic cars, expensive cars, refurbished cars. These are owner-owned. They bring them in here and show them off. And here's the Family Truckster by the Griswolds, of course, and there's a family called Griswolds. They're actually in the business. I think they're travel agents, and this is their car entry, and they actually won some sort of, I think it was a Pixar prize. This was a competition. Over at the Epcot entrance booths, you can see the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train being advertised now. Stepping inside the Art of Disney, you can see, let me actually go back, I thought I had two pictures of those. These are Christmas ornaments, and there are several different varieties. I only have the one picture to show you. Now, last weekend, the Garden Grill was not functioning, not turning, but I think that's been fixed in the meantime. And we went on the land boat ride to see what's new. There are almost always new plants in these biodomes. Here's the capers and black pepper and cactus over in the corner by the hydroponics. And they finally rebuilt this aeration tower where the fish live off of the plants and vice versa, as well as these rotating trays. I think they had to redo all of the electronics behind them. Now then, behind Club Cool, this is the area where they had the butterfly garden recently. You can see just over the fence 1, 2, 3, 4 large earth-moving pieces of equipment. And there's some speculation that this was unplanned maintenance they had to perform when they took out the butterfly garden. I think they may have taken out a water line as well, is the rumor. Over in Germany, this caught my eye. I don't know how long it's been changed, but I could swear there was kind of a dead end to the model railroad track over on the far right side. Italy's over to my right here. In the meantime, they've installed a couple of Y intersections here and made the whole thing contiguous. And they've also got this overpass and tunnel that just weren't there before. I'm pretty sure I'm not making this memory up. And here's another angle of the same area. Little construction happening elsewhere in Germany. And then on the other side of Germany, they've got this set up. It's World Cup time, of course, and so they've got little games set up about soccer, as well as the brackets set up here in the lawn outside of Germany. I stopped by the Norway pavilion to see if the Prinsessplatz signage that was here had been replaced, and indeed the Puffin's Roost is back. That was the original name. They've got a brand new sign. But on the other side, the entrance to the Anna and Elsa area is still roped off, so who knows what's going on back there. Now, because it's World Cup time, they've got viewing of World Cup at the Odyssey, which is this building that's usually not open to the public. It certainly doesn't usually have these decorations of the countries in the World Cup. As you step into the Odyssey, you'll see several things. First, all of the signage has been put on to make it more of an event. The brackets are reproduced here as well. Lots of colorful lit tables inside, place for you to hang out in the air conditioning, and you can watch multiple screens. They're all showing the same thing. It's World Cup action that you can watch right here at Walt Disney World. And a couple of different levels are open actually in the Odyssey dining area. Now in the food area, they've got this little food cart set up here. We'll look at the prices in a moment. This merchandise cart set up as well. There's one of the special pins, limited edition, and what some of the World Cup merchandise looks like on that cart. Now back to the food cart, and you can see some of the prices available here for food at the food cart. A couple more of the signs are on the outside of the Odyssey. And then from there over to the Duffy store, and as we step foot in the Duffy store, we see no sign of Duffy. It's all World Cup all the time inside the Duffy store at the moment. I have no word on whether Duffy is coming back afterwards. World Cup is here in World Showcase, or in Future World, excuse me, as well. This is a holdover from the topiaries. Well, this week we are not doing a Where in Walt Disney World Was This game. We just don't have one prepared. So that does it for us this time around. Sorry for skipping a week last time. We'll get back with the regular schedule next time. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you next time.